Hi everybody. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about different things that you can do if you are on a budget but you still want to factor in some travel time into your life. Okay? So my name is Danielle and this is Danny Travels. I love to travel. I'm a travel enthusiast, as I say in my description. I'm also an educator and I'm an artist, and so much more. And this is my travel channel. So make sure that you like and subscribe if you like what you hear in this video and you want to hear more. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. You also have to excuse me because I just got done working out. It's been a stressful couple of days. So we're gonna talk about stress and travel and all that stuff too. I'll branch out into more stuff eventually. But today's video. So once again, what if you are someone who maybe you're just on a budget? You're living on a budget. You have some money stashed away, but you have other priorities aside from traveling. But you still want to take advantage of maybe some time you have, maybe you have a little bit of flexibility. What are some things that you can do if you still want to factor travel into your lifestyle? So, I'm going to give you a few tips. I have 5 main tips. I'm sure there are more than this. But we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first tip that I want to talk about, and I think some people know about this, but not everyone, but make sure that you use Google Flights to look for flights. Use Google Flights. So I don't know if most people go to like the airline websites first and look for different flights. But there's a tactic you can use on Google Flights. And I wrote some notes down, so I'm kind of looking at it here. Um, but when you typically go to Google Flights, you type it in and everything, and you click on flights. You might put in the date that you want to travel, um, some other information I think they gathered. Oh, where you want to go, duh. And then press like search. Instead of doing that, go to the explore button. There should be like right under before you put in any information, click on explore. And what happens is you the map opens up and you can actually scroll around, like use the cursor to move around on the map to see what places are more expensive to travel to and what places are a little bit less expensive to travel to. The other thing that Google does is they will like pre-select different places that are priced pretty decently and put them like on the top of your search. So this is really good because if you have flexibility, like for me, like I said, I'm currently a teacher. So during the summertime, I have a little bit more flexibility than I do during like the winter and spring months. I could kind of like just search around and they'll like pre-select different dates that are in the future too to show you when is the most inexpensive time to travel. So I suggest do that if you have a little bit of flexibility. When I don't have as much flexibility, what I do is I will still put the date in, but then I'll use the map to look around to see where is the best places to go at that time as far as my budget goes. So actually, I talk a lot about this trip because I loved it, but my trip to Guatemala, I didn't have flexible dates because I was going during my spring break, but where I went was flexible. So instead of putting the country that I want to go in, I just put the dates and I was able to look around. So definitely use the map on Google Flights to look for inexpensive flights. A bonus to that would also be to download different um, apps for you to find budget flights. Like I have the Hopper app, and that's really good. I have actually purchased. I think I've only purchased once from the Hopper app thus far. Sometimes those apps make me a little scary, but Google Flights, same thing. I can't remember if I've actually purchased a flight via Google directly, but what Google Flights helps me do is it helps me see what places are most inexpensive to fly to at that time. And then what I can do is I can go to the actual airline and compare and get my flight that way. So I that's how I use it. But like I said, I have used Hopper once, and that went pretty well. I had no issues. Um, the other thing I'll do when I do use Hopper, sometimes I'll again look to see which airlines have the best prices. I think usually you'll see Spirit pop up with the best prices. I know some people have strong feelings about Spirit. I've never flown them, but I look to see what the other airlines are, and I'll compare them at their on their own website. So, but I can't say. I think if you are on a budget and you are really just trying to go somewhere, I don't think purchasing directly from Google would be an issue either. I would say just make sure you get some type of travel insurance, of course, when you do purchase. All right, so the second thing that you can do if you are on a budget but you still want to travel is I suggest you take advantage of the sales that these cruise lines have. Carnival always seems to have a sale. I know some people have certain feelings about Carnival. If you real bougie, you may not want to go on Carnival, but if you and a couple friends are looking to have a good time, that might be the way to go. Now I know I've talked thus far a lot about solo travel, but I don't know. I have never done a cruise solo yet. So it depends on how you feel about that. But I know even some cruise lines do have like a solo package. I haven't really seen much of that. I keep hearing about it, but I don't think I've explored enough. But overall, a lot of different cruise lines, all the cruise lines have these sales. So like Carnival, Royal Caribbean has sales, and then Virgin Voyages have sales as well. So I would check um, like every season, just kind of keep a lookout for that. I think the last time I actually saw a sale was like late spring, early summer of last year when I was looking at Virgin Voyages. But stay connected to the cruise line websites and see when you can catch a sale. Um, the most inexpensive are probably going to be like Caribbean, the cruises in Mexico. If you're trying to go more like Europe, Mediterranean, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. But again, if you're just looking to factor some travel into your schedule while you're on a budget, then hey, getting some fun in the sun, there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, I think Carnival has a sale right now. The last time I looked, I'm not sure about the other ones, but definitely take advantage of the sales and discounts that the cruise lines have. All right, so this isn't, this is not a direct travel tip. Actually, it kind of is. It's adjacent, but this is what I would say, and this is mostly to my sisters, right? My beautiful, my fellow beautiful black women. Sometimes we can go all out when we're preparing for a trip, and we spend a lot of money before we even touch foot on the airplane, right? So, um, what I would say is try not to go all out with getting all the prep done, the beauty prep. So, like, you don't have to, get your hair done to go on the trip. Depending on what it is, right? If you're just trying to factor some a quick trip in, you don't have to get your hair done. Your nails don't have to be fresh. Um, depending on if you're gonna be on the beach or not, you do not have to get your toes done. You do not have to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe just because you're going on a trip. And that's solo or group travel. Now, I know it's hard because I love to have braids. I'm probably my next trip coming up, as far as I know it, is my birthday trip with one of my best friends and sisters. And I know I'm going to get my hair done for that. But if I were just going on a trip, just to get away, and I actually did this last summer. I did get my nails done, got my toes done because I was going to Cancun, but I didn't worry about getting my hair done. And do I look bomb in all my photos? Not all of them. If I had my braids, I probably would have rocked it out a little bit better, but it wasn't really about that. And so I think that we have to take that pressure off of ourselves to always like look on point, and you don't have to post it all on social media either. I think that's a big reason why we go all out and get all this stuff done. You don't always have to get your lashes. So I'm telling you, like, if you cut out getting fresh nails, if you cut out getting your hair done, if you cut out lashes, that's probably gonna be like $400 that you save. If you cut out buying a whole new wardrobe, that's gonna save you probably $200-300. So you do not have to go all out when you're planning on going on a trip. All right. So I'm gonna add a bonus. I'm thinking of more things as I go through this, but I go to my next one. If you are doing an international trip, and this might be, especially if you're solo. So if you're not solo, this may not help that much. It could actually. But what I would suggest, if you're doing international, I would suggest staying in a hostel. Now, me personally, I've never stayed in the actual hostel. I've stayed in um, at the Selena that I stayed at. It was a hostel and a hotel, and I actually stayed in the hotel part where everything was private. But if you're like, I just want to just go somewhere and you're trying to save on hotel costs, I really do advise that you stay in a hostel. On my travels, the people that I talked to that actually were staying in hostels, they said that they enjoyed it. Now, I don't know about domestic, so if you're from the US and you're planning a domestic trip, I don't know if staying in a hostel is that great. It might depend on where and what hostel you're staying at. But as far as international, I've heard nothing but good things about hostels. And if you're unsure what a hostel is, if you've never heard of it, it's basically it's like a dorm, and you might have between like 4 to 6 people in one room, and it's like bunk beds, and you just living with other people for your stay. And there's a shared bathroom, so you might think, "Ooh, I don't know if I'm, security wise," but if everybody's going, like, if you're planning a trip to Italy and you're staying in a hostel and with other people, they're planning a trip to Italy as well as staying in the hostel with you. So they're more focused on their trip. They paid this money to get there. So as far as like your things and there, I honestly don't think that the people who are staying in hospitals really want to do any harm to other people. So, but again, if you're not comfortable with that, I get it. I'm not the first one to say, "Oh, I'll stay in a hospital," but again, I've heard nothing but good things from other people. Okay, next one is, and this is number 5, I believe. Visit friends who live in major cities or who live near major cities. So I have a couple friends that I've been meaning to visit them. I have a friend in San Francisco. I have a friend out in LA. And I have a friend in Dallas, and that was actually a trip that I did. I went to visit. This was a few years ago. I went to visit my friend in Dallas. I stayed with her. We did like little things in the city for a few nights, and it was cool. So if you're just like, I want to get to this place, and you know somebody who lives there, and you can stay with them, boom, do that, because that's gonna save you so much in like hotel costs. So definitely visit friends who live in major cities. I know sometimes we don't think about that. And even like if it's a friend that you travel with, just say, "Hey, I'll come to you," or you come to me if they're on a budget. So that's always a good idea. Okay, and then the last one is, um, and sometimes this may end up more expensive than flying, but I also advise you to do a road trip. So if it's you and a couple friends who live locally, and you live kind of near some other major cities, maybe in surrounding states, y'all can split gas. You all can take turns driving, um, and do some like regional travel by taking a road trip. So of course, make sure your car is okay, and whoever's car you're taking is good to go. But that way you can save money on flights. Um, and again, I know, depending on where you're going, the flight might factor out to be what you would pay on gas, but at least you're splitting gas. And you would still have to pay for your hotel, so that does cut some costs down. So consider a road trip. Like I'm in the Chicago area, so like a trip to like Milwaukee, or like Detroit or Indianapolis, or places that are regional to me would be, some fun. Even like when I think of like Cincinnati, Ohio, that's not too far. It's a few hours away, but it's a nice little road trip, a nice little getaway. So that's one thing that you can do as well. So let me recap those ideas. So the first was to use Google Flights to do your flight searches and utilize the Explore option if you have flexible dates, and or um, if you don't have if you don't have flexible dates, then try to make your city flexible so you can explore to see what is the most inexpensive. Number two, take advantage of cruise sales. Now, depending on if it's just you or not, this may not work. If it's two people, then it probably works better, as far as the sale goes. So, hook up with the friends, see if you guys can get a cruise sale, for whatever date range you have. Number three, for my girlies, omit the pre vacation prep, the expensive hair, the expensive nails, all of that, because you really don't need it. Don't buy a new wardrobe if you are on a budget. Number four, stay in a hostel, if you're international, especially. Number five, visit friends who live in major cities. And then number six, instead of taking a flight, do a road trip if you are traveling regionally or even within your state. So those were my 6 tips. I'm sure I'll think of more after this video, but what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel, and then you check out my past videos. I have some really good content for you, especially if you are more new to travel. Maybe you're younger and you're just trying to get your feet wet, or maybe you're very interested in solo travel and you don't know where to start. So check out some of my past videos and comment below and let me know if you have some tips of your own as far as budget traveling goes. I will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.